Chavez. I'm an artist here in Chicago. I work with found materials, creating large-scale installations, sculptures, interactive installations, sculptures. I used to do a lot of public art, and let me start there. I did 10 years of community-based public art that was really rewarding and really wonderful. You know, I was just like wanting to do something different and wanting to do something that was different for me. Not really caring too much about how it got made, but really was more with the attitude that I can do it. So I did a lot of installation pieces that I consider installation pieces, but they're more like three-dimensional collages and abandoned buildings, in the facades of abandoned buildings and doorways of abandoned buildings, just because I could. So that's what I did. That's what brought me into the work that I do now. I decided that to do these things after smoking tons of weed with my friend, and decided to just go out and do installations or collages on the streets one night. And I thought it was amazing what we did, because it was so new to me and it was so exciting that I was just like, holy shit, this is the kind of stuff that I want to do. This is what I want to pursue. This is the kind of things that I want to follow. This is the kind of things that I want to do. So at first it was just like, oh, just put it anywhere. After that it became more strategic. I was like, oh, that's that place. I want to do that. I want to follow. I want to go and see how I can do that. And all this, man, like scoping out the place. And man, really taking into consideration what would happen in that space if I were to do an installation in there. So I did that for several years, just thinking that it was really an amazing field. And for me, that was like the piece that really kind of showed me the light of where I wanted to go. That kind of work. I've been using found materials for a very long time. That's something that I cannot let go. I'm more, interested in what the material has to say, and that's been a critical point for me to use materials. Like, for instance, I like to see marks. I like to see a sense of history on the objects, a sense of personality. And so when I look for materials to make my work, I have to have that. And otherwise, the piece just becomes too crafty. It doesn't have enough history. It doesn't have enough, accessibility. I love it when people say wow, it's like scaling paint. This is a nice mark. Because there's something really interesting about it. There's something really attractive to it. So that has been sort of like a quest for me in terms of work. The work now revolves more about, to me, is about issues of survival and issues of, adaptation, forms that, that are so relative to sort of like the caging in the wild animal or conforming to a way of being, but they're more or less still, to me, they're still considered like defined acts, but not in the same way of physically defined or pissing people off to put it in their doorway. I encourage that work on any artist. That sort of attitude toward anybody's work, because I think it's just an attitude, that's a creative attitude to have when you are dealing with creative practices. That's an attitude that you should always have to say, to what's going on. And I'm not saying that you want to hate everything, but to really find your own path, really find your own way, and develop those skills of finding your own way. And that is, something that I try to get students to understand. So to develop your ideas, it becomes, you I don't know how that is within the school. And it's easy and it's hard at the same time, but that's where originality comes from. It comes from your ideas, not from mine, and not from assignments.